custom set of IROC slot cars from scratch. Join us for a preview coming up next. On a previous video, we explained the concept of IROC racing and how and why our slot car club, the Arizona Garage Racers, often uses this fun format. We also looked at a few classes of cars prepared and maintained with IROC in mind. Well, today we're back again with Dave Dubel to introduce an exciting new set of 4 cars he's going to be custom building from scratch for our club. Although some of the IROC classes can be as simple as using just about an off-the-shelf kind of a car and making maybe some changes to the tires or the guide, there's also the other end where if you have the skill, you can go crazy and build a completely customized car. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Dave is planning a new IROC series, and so I'm excited to see what he's got going for us. But you can take a look right now. This is the complexity of parts that's going to go into this new series. So Dave, what do you want to talk about first?
Okay, well let's give a little history on the thing. I wasn't planning to do this, but you know, you look at eBay and you see these things, and one day I saw 4 or 5 of these BMW M1 bodies for sale. These are changing gear chassis, and I want to thank the gentleman who sold them. I know who he is, he knows who I am, and he'll recognize this. He was going to do this and apparently had better things to do. I apparently don't. Here's basically all the pieces and parts with the exception of a few screws and set screws and that sort of thing. I'm going to go through them real quick just to point out maybe the major components, but obviously you've got the body and the chassis. Now, as you can see, this body does not have an interior in it. These cars have the original interior in place, but they are from the Fly car model company and they sit very, very low to the chassis. And so in order to use that original interior, you have to grind off half of it just to clear the motor that's going to be sitting under there. So I opted to go for some nice paper interior, printed interior things that kind of look like maybe there's something in the car. It doesn't much matter. We're not racing them for that purpose. That to fill in that void, I'll take those interiors out of the other 3 cars, put the printed ones in.
You have to just grind them out, or?
They're actually in the car, and they're made like a model car, where they're on melted tabs. And what I do is I take a very sharp wood chisel, be careful if you do that, and I just kind of take off that melted down part, and then this piece comes out.
Okay.
So, and then these things I'll tape up in there with some strapping tape, and it'll all be good. So moving back down to the chassis, as you can see, it's basically the bare frame from CG Slot Cars, and they are amazing. These fit the slotted type Sidewinder or inline motor pod, so you can do 2 configurations. These motor pods are considered the Sidewinder type. So the motor, which is here, is going to be sitting crossways in the chassis. And we're using the Predator 18K motor. It is a very, very good brand of motor. Their performance between motors is really good. The company that has procured them has made sure that they run really well together. Moving on from that, there's a lot of screws and other pieces that you need to have to put the chassis parts together. You got Here we've got axles front and rear for the car. We've got gears over here, Sidewinder type spur gears. We've got the pinion gears, 2 in each package. There's some of those screws I was talking about. These are bushings for the front suspension of the car. Most cars don't have bushings in the front, but the design of these chassis allow you to use the spherical swivel ball type bushings that Slotted came up with years ago. For the wheels, for this build, I could not find wheel inserts for the BMW M1s, and so I decided to try something different. I've only used staff wheels once before, but this time we're going to go big, and we've got obviously deeper wheels on the back, narrower wheels on the front, and we're going to put them in there and try them out. Because these are the type of wheel that have 2 blades instead of a solid center rim. Depending on the wheels that I've got, which are quick slicks, I don't know particularly whether they are made for that wheel or if I'm going to have to use these filler O-rings in the middle to build up that center section so I don't get some slump in the center of the tire. Also on the chassis, we don't use magnets here, we use weights. And these are tungsten weights that are shaped to fit into the slotted motor pods. They have a little set of slots in them and they pop right in. And I may wind up using 1 per car, maybe 2 per car. We don't put a lot of weight in them. Again, we've got quick slicks tires front and back. We've got zero grip on the front, and we've got the firm compound of silicone for the rears. And those are ready to go. The nice thing about these is that you put them on and they're usually perfectly round. And sometimes it pays to maybe put them on a wheel machine, a tire truer, that sort of machine, and just give them a little bit of a polish, but they are usually just ready to go right out of the package. So a lot of good stuff. Oh, the other thing, I'm using the NSR deep guide flag for a wooden track, and they are kind of new. They're not as deep and as long as some of the others that we've used, but we've had good luck with them and they fit these chassis well, and so we're moving on in that direction. Again, here's an assortment of some of the little screws and hardware that you find that are required to put all these pieces together. The only thing that I haven't got out here is I don't have the braid that rides on the track out here. I cut those into 3/4 inch lengths, and there's 2 per car on that. So right now it's all sitting in a roll someplace. But it's extensive and it's expensive. But we're going to have a lot of fun with these things. They're a series of car that was in fact an IROC series in Europe and the United States. I don't remember what company put on the racing, but again, it was an International Race of Champions type format where the cars were equally prepared and then drivers were invited to compete in the series. They were successful for a while. They were fun cars to watch, and there was some close racing.
Wow, Dave, this is going to be an exciting series. It looks like you got about a year's worth of work here, but we will give you an update on this series down the line when Dave gets these cars ready to race. We want to thank Dave so much. Dave, thanks not only for taking the time today, but for putting all of the energy and spark into our racing club that you do. It's just an amazing group of guys, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, I have a good time doing it. when I was a kid, they told me you should hang a pork chop around your neck so your dog will play with you. So I came up with a slot car club and track, and now I have friends.
What an awesome time we have. Wow, look at all those parts. Be sure to leave a comment below if you'd be interested in seeing a detailed video or two of Dave building one of these cars up and then setting it up for racing. I'd have to get my sleeping bag and go hang out for a while in his shop, but it would be worth it. Anyway, this is Stan saying thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you right here next time.